Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a tier 10 replay in my Shimakaze. Looking at the matchmaking, we have, I'm gonna go ahead and piss people off, the Worcester, Cleveland. That's a thing inside my clan, people freak out when you call it that. DD wise, double Shimakaze, Yagumo, rounds out the threats to me. I spawn in the middle of the map. Because of that, I'm going to try to make a play for B cap. So looking at the layout on my team, we really don't have any sort of really good radar ship. We've got the Cleveland, but Cleveland compared to the tier 10 is there's a big difference. So we're just going to come up here. We're going to try to use cover the best we can, and I'll show you a little area that sometimes can help you. As usual with the IJNDDs, I'm watching my RPF, and I'm showing that there's going to be somebody pushing here. If the Worcester spawned middle, I expect him to kind of make this play right in here. His ship's strong right in this section of the island. Sometimes he can fire over this and also utilize this island, sometimes parking flat against it, and he can even cap from that position. So what I'm doing is I'm coming out. By doing this, I'm spotting in here. I notice my RPF switch position. It's in here. It's going to be enemy Shima, I believe. This is letting my Fletcher know that, hey, you're going to bump into something. The Fletcher's taking the dangerous route into A. Really, the safe way is to come in here on this side of the island and into your island of cover. But regardless, I spot the enemy Montana. I'm reversing into cap. Don't really expect Shimakaze torpedoes because mine have only just been loaded. And I'm just gonna park here. And judging by the HE that I've seen back there, I'm expecting the Worcester to be back here and get radar detected. What I'm doing here, we have two targets that this guy's gonna shoot at, and I am just looking to see how this guy's gonna take aim, and I see that he shoots at the other DD and scores a pretty good hit. And what I was looking to do was basically throw his aim off as soon as he shoots. That's something you can do with battleships at max, well, at extended range, and that'll help you out. And like I said, it was the Worcester back here. I think that this DD kind of made a mistake. Instead of kiting out in my direction, he drove into the cap, and you know, he paid a price for it. I mean, 2/3 of his HP is already gone. Regardless, we've got B, and what I want to do is come in here and try to support A. We've got a big enemy push into A. This is something that Shima Torps can punish heavily. And what I don't like, there's not a lot of support here. But I don't want to just abandon, you know, two tier 10 ships and a Fletcher for nothing. So looks like we're gonna pick up our Cleveland, my friendly Shima. Looks like he's launching torps in this vicinity. I'm more interested in this Iowa back here, and I see this friendly enemy Shimakaze coming my way, And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut off his line of retreat and just smoke up and start shooting him. And forgive me if some of my shooting's a little rusty. I haven't really got a chance to play in a little over a week, so I'm not at the peak of my game at the moment. So Shimakaze smokes up, I go on ahead, drop my torps, and there's nothing really. This smoke screen's not really gonna do anything for me. I don't have any spotting, you know, it is what it is. So I'm moving out, and I've got low health enemy destroyers that I'm anticipating are gonna try to get back to friendly locations. I managed to torp the enemy Shimakaze, who had smoked up on me, and I'm just going to keep putting pressure in this area. I know there's another low health Yagumo. He pops up. He's actually quite a bit lower than I thought. For some reason this guy was going really slow. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Get a couple torp hits on the Iowa, and this right here is just kind of a lesson on when you can use your guns in any destroyer, but also in a Japanese DD. A lot of people struggle with when to shoot, when not to. And looking at the Iowa, his guns were completely turned off me, and he's, you know, couldn't shoot me. So he pops out. I see his guns closer to being on target, and I start cheating for it, and I realize, okay, this guy's spotted anyway, and I'm going to try to utilize cover this island here to make myself able to stealth fire. And I'm looking to get an unrepairable fire on this guy. Right now, RNG is just not cooperating. I go on ahead and, well, speak of the devil, there's a fire. I go on ahead, drop a set of torps on the Iowa. I drop a tentative set on the Bismarck, but I don't think he's going to live long enough to use it. And my shooting is terrible. Get some hits. So we're coming around the island. Our intent is we're going to keep harassing. This Iowa is going to be wanting to engage all of these guys, and being able to wrap around behind him. Chances are his guns aren't going to be pointed this way, and we can shoot him some more. We get 2 more torpedo hits with a flooding. Looks like the flood is ticking. He's healing right now though as well, and we're just shooting. His guns aren't on target, and like I said, my shooting is atrocious right now, but third time's the charm. Now this is, shooting that Iowa is kind of a greedy move. Honestly, he would have flooded out already, but most likely one of my friendlies would have stolen the kill, so that's just kind of a greedy play, me shooting there. But at this point, this game looks like a stomp, and if you've watched my previous videos, you know my stance about when it looks like the win's a sure thing. You play more aggressive, take more risks, get more damage, get more stuff done, and you know that's kind of what I'm doing in this phase, and we're gonna see my team try to throw this thing. So at this point we're up to 4 kills. A couple of them were me saving the team from low HP targets. 105,000 damage, couple caps, couple base defenses. At this point, it's a decent game, and I'm looking to do a little more, and looking to see, you know, what I can get after. On the mini-map, it's not really clear right now, but there's a Yamato, a Shimakaze on B cap, and their Montana is, I think this guy's gonna go ham on C cap. Wasn't really watching to see what he was doing at this point, but what I'm doing with the Yamato, I am just covering my bases. Lay out a set of torps again. I'm thinking at this point that the game's done. I'm only looking to get as many dots on this guy, get as much damage as I can, and if you noticed, we just lost 2 ships. This game just got a lot closer. We're actually down 1 ship, and at this point I actually haven't noticed it. Right now, smoking up, that's when I noticed, oh, this isn't done yet. Get some damage on the Shimakaze. Looking to get some damage in on the Yamato, and that Worcester's coming in, and he pops radar. And again, it's this Shimakaze that this guy's just playing too aggressive, and I mean it's a boon for me because they're not shooting at me, but he's just gonna get wrecked. I get the unrepairable fire on the Yamato. I'm still shooting because why not? I mean, try to get as much damage in here. And right now I'm driving off the mini-map, so that turn you see right there is me trying to avoid the island. I do see shots in from the Shimakaze, and there's his torps. I'm gonna go ahead and slow down, dodge the torps. My Shima floods out the Yamato, and at this point we're still only a ship up. They have the cap advantage. I see their Shima, and I'm guessing correctly that he's going to try to YOLO this turbines. So I'm coming up here, and unfortunately for me, this Shima played it smart and didn't actually poke out behind the island where I could shoot him. So I just really am only limited to making a play for the cap. Now, also, if you're watching the mini-map, you've noticed that this Montana's turned around. There's a plane here that's telling me he's in the channel, and that I need to start worrying about a Montana coming this way. This guy's healthy, and he's been putting in a lot of work wrecking my team. So I step on the cap, and there's the Montana. Unfortunately, his indicator is already into this island, so the only thing I can really do is just launch, hope the guy slows down for some reason, but I'm not expecting it, and I'm not gonna hang out here waiting for the for him to plane spot me and then be able to shoot me. And terrible marksmanship on display here, but just trying to distract that Shimakaze from shooting my Bismarck, and probably not the best play while I'm capping. And I am still not really sure what shot me there. I don't think that the Montana can shoot from that angle. that close, being that close to me, and still hit me. But, you know, whatever, something just hit me. I go on ahead, just smoke up, and right here, using my back guns, I'm denying a good shot at, you know, where exactly I'm at. Basically, when you're in the smoke and you're shooting at targets smoked up, you can see where the shells are basically coming out of the barrels of the guns, and I'm basically denying that vision of my front gun, so he can see kind of where my ship is in the smoke. Right here, dropping dual purpose torps on the Shima on the Montana. Maybe I get lucky. My plan is I'm going to come back here, use this island as cover while I fight this Shima. It's kind of sort of going to work. His torps, he was smart enough to torp here, so I had to poke a little bit. Go in behind the island more than I wanted, but torps hit him, you know, takes care of that. And at this point, B cap is ours. The Otago is coming into C cap. We should get C, and my Bismarck just finishes Worcester, and it's just this one Montana. And you know, right now I'm not feeling too comfortable because of how this team has just melted to this point. And I'm kind of thinking that, especially when I look over and see just how low that Bismarck is, and this guy's not running away, that I'm kind of figuring I'm gonna have to kill this Montana myself. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to figure out where he's gonna go. I mean, he's got to make a play for the cap. That's really his only options. At this point, it's, you know, A or B. So by taking this position, I can defend either. If he makes a straight push towards B cap, I can kite and then torp as he starts to come in. If he goes for A, I can, you know, just lead him and drop torps into his side. My torps there, why I dropped so far back, I was predicting a turn into B cap. Because of the point situation, it made the most amount of sense to go to B cap. And he just straight lined it. And this play didn't really make sense to me because he's got 2 minutes left. He's not gonna be able to do anything. Now this Bismarck's trying to throw by continuing to push up. This guy might have a spotter plane handy, in which case he can spot him and farm him. This point, I see the Montana finally making the move that I believed he was going to. Now, the downside is I only have one rack of torps, so I go on ahead, take the lead the best I can. I'm gonna drop in here behind the island. I don't want to be spotted, and I'm just going to turn around and try to come back in, because now I know. Now I finally know what direction this Montana's coming in, and I'm gonna go on ahead and land a torp here. I believe he was repairing. These torps have an extremely high flood chance, and usually when you see a torp hit where you don't get the flood, it's usually the ship's already repairing. But it could very easily have been, you know, RNG just hated me as well. So Montana's turning in. I know this game's almost over, so I'm just dumping some Make-A-Wish torps at the, to deny the point of the island, and I'm just gonna kite north. Um, there's no sense in me shooting at this point. Just gotta play safe and take the win. And we got the clock ticking down. And then I'm just gonna take a cheeky shot here, but there's not enough time for that to land. End of the game, 173,000 damage, 5 kills, 6 base defenses, 1 full cap, 2 assisted capture. This was actually a pretty selfish game as far as I normally play, because there's uh, not a lot of spotting damage, not even a lot of potential damage where I tanked for the team. Uh, Off the top of my head, I don't believe I used smoke for anybody. So this game really was just me kind of playing selfish. And to be fair, I wasn't really around that many allies to support. I'm gonna go on ahead and pause it here. Um, yeah, 9K spotting. Um, that's absolutely nothing compared to what the numbers I'm normally raking in. And I mean, you can see a lot of my kills I'm just raking up, cleaning up the low health stuff, trying to get it off the board. Um, Using your guns for these types of kills, it's important for a Japanese DD, because Yugumo goes on at 183 hit points. If he has adrenaline rush, he can crank out torps crazy fast, and put a lot of pressure on your team while he's playing safe at the same time. Um, you know, just it's important you get the low health targets, and if you're healthy, start shooting, get them down. Even if you take some damage doing it, as long as you're not going to get absolutely nuked, get them off the table. It really helps your team out, not only with the points, uh, but also just removing the guns from the fight, removing another ship that can provide vision, um, all of that kind of stuff. It's good stuff getting the kills and um, taking care of business. Um, the lessons that I would kind of point out in this game is, using cover. Some of the DD fights where trying to use an island where at any point I could just drive into the island and get safe, whereas the enemy would have to be out in the open. Um, Using the islands for, expecting the Worcester to come in and radar me, but positioning where I did, it wasn't very likely he would be able to get a shot on me. Um, Looking, seeing where, particularly battleships, where their guns are aimed, and getting getting that pressure on there. I mean, you know, almost 300 shells fired, 137 hits, and my shooting was atrocious this game. Um, Still, just DHE alone, that was 27K plus another 26 in fires. That adds up. That's a good chunk of my damage right there. Um, so don't don't neglect your guns. Um, to do it correctly, you need to understand when you can and when you can't. And In this game, I had a few opportunities against um, this Iowa, the Bismarck, the Yamato, where these guys were distracted. I was able to just put some cheeky shots in on them, and they couldn't really do too much about it. Um, Aside from that, that's probably only real lessons I think I can pull out of this game. This game was a lot of cap control, just going in and killing the enemy and taking the caps and going back in, back capping, doing whatever I needed to get the points ticking in our favor. And when the enemy started pushing into caps, try to get out there where I could get in front and torp them and, make trying to take those caps hurt. So, anyway, hope you guys like this game. Hope it's something that you guys can play around with using your guns a lot. It can be a challenge with Japanese destroyers if you guys aren't used to using your guns, and it can seem very foreign, or that you're doing something wrong. But stick with it. It's really pays off in the end. I mean, just this game, my guns and fires, that's nearly the server average damage just with my guns alone. So, anyway, hope you guys like the game. Before I talk all night, you guys have a good one, and I'll talk to you on the next one.